Have you seen the giant leaps that are happening in AI? Image generation, animation, all at the click of a button, and it's all mainstream. So now, if you want your videos to look like this,
then you can.
Or perhaps you've recently done a podcast and you want to visualize all of your remotely recorded conversations. Maybe you want to build up the entertainment factor.
Or perhaps you want to reach out and tap into a different geographical audience.
To deliver educational tips, insights, and information. The options for how you now appear to your audience are endless. And it raises an interesting question. When should you be this guy? When should you appear to your audience as your authentic self? So in this video, I'll show you how to turn yourself into an animated character, but I'll also show you the touch points in your business or in your professional career that you can be using this technology to enhance what you're doing. And fundamentally, I'll provide you with a tool that will help you assess whether or not it's the right thing to use AI for or not. If you're new here, I'm Lindsay. I'm a design psychologist turned business builder and former lecturer at Australia's leading school of design. I've helped some really big brands build experiences and strategies that have won their market share. And now I'm building Bon Le Monde to take those billion-dollar strategies and put them into businesses like yours. On this channel, I talk about the tools, tactics, and the psychology behind customer relationships so you can make sure that you can grow your business without the expensive mistakes that others have already made. If that sounds like something you're interested in, if that sounds like your jam, then lean in, have fun, and subscribe. Using this technology is a lot of fun and it's pretty exciting to see where it's going to go. And one thing I've been able to see in working in human-computer interaction for so long is that there is a distinction between using technology well to enhance customer relationships and using it poorly where it actually erodes away at the trust you've built with those people. You see, if you're a business owner, you probably know that 81% of all transactions that people make are largely based around trust. That's way more than convenience or price. And so if you're eroding trust and if you're not building it with your customers or your staff or anyone that you're interacting with in a professional capacity, then you're creating a situation which is not going to be advantageous for you. And so I've created an artificial presence framework to help with this. A line that you can draw to say this is either going to be valuable, damaging, a gimmick, or
inauthentic.
So in this framework, what we're talking about is how and when we should use AI. So in every business, you've got dozens, hundreds of interactions that happen between the business and their customer and to achieve an outcome. Those interactions have different magnitudes of impact. Now, given this framework's directly addressing human psychology and trust, there are two key things that we need to talk about. On the y-axis, it's relationship sensitivity. And relationship sensitivity purely refers to how sensitive that relationship is with the person you're interacting. Think about it in a reactive point of view, right? So if you are going to take an action, what's their reaction to that going to be? How much value are they placing in your relationship? And if you break their trust, is that relationship going to become vulnerable? So we've got an axis from low to high with this. And so if they're on a lower relationship sensitivity with you, then usually we'll be able to play in an area where it's safer to use AI. Next, let's jump to the x-axis, which is authentic expectation. And this purely talks to what the expectation is before you have an interaction with them. If you think about human relationships, they're not as linear as you think. Right? They happen at different stages and they happen in different environments and they happen through different social settings. And so through those different stages, if you actually diagnose how people are interacting with each other, there are different expectations. If I have a phone call with somebody, the type of conversation that we have is incredibly different to the type of conversation we'd have over a text message. If we were using Morse code, it would be different again. The communication style would change. The expectations of how people would talk to us would change. And if we were using Morse code, I think everyone would be happy that we could use AI to enrich and enhance that experience. Whereas if we're having a personal phone call, you want to be hearing that person's voice. You don't want to be hearing a replica of it. So the same thing applies. We've got a low to high spectrum. And if we're on the lower side of the spectrum, usually it's safer to use automation and AI. So to understand this best and understand each of the quadrants, let's just use some examples, right? So community groups are a really popular way to engage with the people that are your prospective customers and existing customers. And now that we've got AI tools that can actually impersonate you and video, it would be very simple to just put it out there and have it created for you. But if you did that, you'd end up in this category up here, right? So part of a community group, the core concept of it is that it is your community. They're there to interact with other people. And if you put something in there that is sort of representing you, but not actually you, and is insinuating that you might be there, but you're not actually really there, then what they're going to find out is that you don't actually care about the community group that you're a part of. And they're going to look at that as a gimmick, and it may not destroy your brand, but what it will do is create noise for them in their community group, because they're not going to pay attention to it if you don't have attention to give them, and it could erode your trust with them over time. Another really interesting example is to use personalized outreach. If you were to, let's say, have a chatbot texting someone that you're interested in, a prospect interested in converting to a fully fledged customer, you know their name, you know some information about them, and they're expecting to receive some information from you, and all they get is a prompt through text, and it's clearly not written by them. Again, that's just going to come across as inauthentic. And if it comes across as inauthentic, really what you're doing is being disingenuous, right? You're setting someone up to believe that they're going to have an interaction with you. They expect, if something is personalized, that it's going to be authentic, right? And because you haven't delivered on that, it's not going to land that well. Again, this is a warning zone. It's not saying that it will always fail. It's just saying it's a bad habit to be building. However, if you take that same personalized outreach, and let's say you run a business which is very intimate with its customers, maybe you run a small shop front, and you put that into those same customers, you're going to end up in this category here. That will create a huge disruption to the relationship, because those people that come into your store every day, every week, whatever it is, not only do they expect an authentic interaction from you over here, they also have high sensitivity to you showing up for that relationship. So if you send them something automated, they're going to say, well, I see you every second day. Why would you send this to me? Maybe I'm actually not that important to this person. So don't do that. Don't do that one. If you run a small shop store, don't do that one. All right, we've talked about what not to do on the quadrants, but let's talk about what's valuable, where we should actually be using AI, where the expectation is really low and the sensitivity is low, and it's perfect for us to go in and enrich those interactions. The first and most easiest one to understand is FAQs. FAQs are a self-service tool. The expectation of authenticity is already incredibly low when it comes to that interaction. And so we can actually get in and enrich the quality, the content quality around that type of media. And we can help get better support outcomes by making sure that people understand what the FAQs are actually trying to present. And so putting in videos might help do that, making sure the content is constantly changing or is adapting to whatever the user type is. So if you've got personas as an example, you might be able to customize how each of those personas are seeing the different FAQs. Next one, outside of dynamic FAQs, is to put it in your purchase flow. Right? So this is a pretty exciting one. If you think about a company like Apple, when you go to buy an iPhone or a Mac, you look through and the purchasing flow has these little videos in it. And it's next to things like upgrade your RAM, or if you want a different screen type, it will have a little video you can click, a person will come up and they'll tell you the difference between the different options that are available, making it really simple and actually inviting you in to have a conversation with Apple as you're going through your purchasing experience, albeit a one-way conversation. Now, as a smaller company, you can do the same thing. You can take your purchase flow and enrich it. You can provide more information, make it more informative, and you can do all of this by generating videos that talk to your products, its features, and where they should not upgrade. I love that one. That's a great example of where you can upgrade your product onboarding. And speaking of onboarding, the last one is onboarding tudes. So if you think about using a product for the first time, when you get into that platform, whether it's an application or an online user forum or whatever it is, if you get in there for the first time, your expectation in that environment, again, is not that you're going to be there having handshakes, having someone tell you how to use the product. And also, you're not expecting that the vulnerability of the relationship is quite low. They're not sitting there thinking, if this doesn't go the right way, I'm never going to speak to this person again or this company again. And so onboarding tutorials where you upgrade the quality or personalize the interactions or the tutorials that happen when someone gets into the platform for the first time is a fantastic user experience opportunity that's largely still untapped. Right now, we have fairly static onboarding experiences if we have one at all. Now we can make them equally as dynamic as the purchase flows I mentioned and make it so that it's educational, engaging, and uplifting for them to actually get in and do what they need to do with your product. And so that's just a few examples that sit in the category of highly valuable things that you can automate or apply AI to enrich the quality of your product or your service. If you're getting value from this video, you'll get value from the Bon Le Mans loyalty score. When you run a business, it's really hard to understand how your customer retention compares to other businesses. And so I created a free benchmarking tool for you to do exactly that. And not only does it benchmark where you are, it also provides you with tips and insights that are personalized from the best companies in the world that will tell you how to fix some of these things. It takes 93 seconds. It won't be free forever. The link's below.
Nice.
All right, let's jump into the fun stuff. We're going to make an animation of ourselves that talks. So first of all, you need a photo of yourself. You're going to upload that sick photo into ChatGPT. In ChatGPT, you're going to have to get GPT 4.0, which is currently a paid plan. Under the dialog box of a prompt, you're going to upload the photo that you've taken of yourself. You're going to select image, and you're going to write a prompt to turn that image into something that you want to see. I use the prompt, I would like this image to be blah, blah, blah. And that might be a certain style that you like. It might be, I want it to be something from the future. It might be, I want it to be a cowboy from the 50s in Clint Eastwood style clothing. Whatever it is that you want your caricature to be, that's what you're going to type in here. Now, that first photo that comes out may not be the one that you want to use. You can always refine it through more prompts. And once you've got that photo downloaded, you'll be able to take it and upload it into a platform like Hedra. So if you jump over to Hedra, you simply need to upload your photo into Hedra and provide it with some audio. Now you can do this in a couple of ways. If you've already got some pre-recorded content, I'd suggest just opening a media platform. That could be Premiere Pro. QuickTime, I think, does a similar thing where you can record sound, and you need to export a MP3 clip from either of your audio recordings. Now, I tend to leave the prompts open and let it simulate whatever it simulates. But if you want the character to do a certain movement or action, then you can jump in and start playing with it. And so it's as simple as that. You'll get a clip of an animated version of you or the character that you've chosen to be. And if you wanted to take it a step further, remove backgrounds and things like that, all you need to do is jump back into the ChatGPT stage and put a green screen behind it, or you can extract the background in Photoshop after you've downloaded the image you like from ChatGPT and put the actual background image you like from one of your videos in the correct format and size, which is 16:9. And hey, if you like this video, you might also like some of the other videos that are coming out soon. So subscribe to make sure you don't miss out.